Take one last look at America, because in a moment, it will disappear. The cities, the roads, the skyline, everything you know today. Now, erase it all. Go back 1500 years before the United States, before history changed forever. This wasn't a country, it was a continent ruled by nature. The strongest survived, the weakest disappeared. That was the only law. Above the forests, below the mountains, life followed its own rhythm. And while the rest of the world knew nothing about this land, millions of people already called it home. Then, something appeared beyond the ocean. Those distant sails didn't just arrive on a new continent, they changed the future of the entire world. 1500 years ago, this place had no name, no borders, no government, no United States. It was simply a vast continent, untouched by the modern world. Endless forests stretched farther than anyone could imagine. Rivers carved their way across the land, feeding every living thing. Towering mountains stood silently, watching thousands of years pass. Every season transformed this land, but nature always remained in control. Massive herds of bison crossed these plains, as they had for countless generations. To anyone arriving here, it looked like an empty wilderness. But hidden beyond these forests, millions of people were already living here. Before history remembered this land, millions of people already called it home. Every sunrise brought a new challenge, because survival was never guaranteed. Children didn't grow up learning from books, they learned by watching, listening, and following those who came before them. Every arrow, every spear, every tool was crafted by hand, because one small mistake could cost a life. The forests weren't just where they hunted, they were their home, their protector, and sometimes, their greatest enemy. They never hunted for glory, they hunted so their families could live another day. The rivers gave them fish, clean water, and a way to travel across a continent with no roads. They understood every tree, every plant, and every season better than anyone else on earth. Even the youngest members of the tribe knew, one day, their survival would depend on everything they learned. To outsiders, this looked like an empty wilderness. But in reality, it was already home to millions of people, living in balance with nature. Around every campfire, stories became the bridge between the past and the future. Every family had a role, every pair of hands mattered, because a village survived only when everyone worked together. Across this vast continent, hundreds of different tribes built their own unique cultures, each shaped by the land they called home. The great bison weren't just animals, they were life itself, providing food, clothing, shelter, and hope. Their history wasn't written on paper, it lived in symbols, carvings, and the memories passed from one generation to the next. Every ceremony, every song, and every dance reflected one simple belief, that humans and nature were forever connected. Year after year, season after season, life followed the same ancient rhythm, peaceful, predictable, and unchanged. But beyond the endless Atlantic Ocean, history was already beginning to move in a different direction. Far beyond the horizon, unfamiliar sails were slowly approaching, carrying people who had never seen this land before. And with those ships, a new chapter of history quietly began, one that would change America forever. Every tribe had a leader, chosen by wisdom, not by power. Survival wasn't inherited, it was taught, every single day. They prepared for winter, long before the cold ever arrived. Rivers became their roads, connecting tribes across the wilderness. Not every meeting ended in war, many ended in friendship and trade. They believed every forest, every river, carried a living spirit. For centuries, this land remained wild, peaceful, and free. Night after night, the stories of their ancestors lived on, around the fire. But beyond the Atlantic, another story was already beginning. A story that would change this continent forever. Europe was changing, faster than anyone imagined. Kings wanted wealth, power, and lands no one had ever claimed. Every map ended with one terrifying question: what lies beyond the endless Atlantic? So they built ships, stronger than ever before. Brave men sailed, knowing they might never return. One explorer refused to turn back: Christopher Columbus. In 1492, 3 ships vanished into the unknown. Days became weeks, and hope slowly disappeared. Then, one word changed history forever: land. Weeks passed, but the ocean never seemed to end. Fear slowly spread, across every ship. Some sailors begged to turn back home, but Columbus refused to give up. Then, something unexpected appeared. Fresh branches, floating across the sea. Hope returned, for the very first time. Then, a sailor shouted one unforgettable word. Land. A new world stood silently before them. In 1492, two worlds finally met. Hidden among the trees, curious eyes watched every move. Neither side knew what the other truly wanted. History's first meeting was quiet and peaceful. They exchanged simple gifts and cautious smiles. Columbus believed he had found a new route to Asia. That night, he carefully recorded everything he had seen. Soon, the ships turned back toward Europe, carrying news that would change the world forever. Within months, Europe was preparing to return. Columbus returned, but he wasn't alone anymore. Soon, more ships followed, carrying settlers instead of explorers. Forests slowly gave way to the first European settlements. The people who once welcomed strangers now watched them stay. At first, they traded and learned from each other. But two different worlds could never remain the same forever. Every new settlement claimed more land. Year after year, the forests began to disappear. More ships arrived, bringing thousands of new settlers. America was changing faster than anyone could imagine. The colonies grew faster every single year. Native families slowly lost the land they called home. Ancient forests disappeared, one tree at a time. Small villages became busy colonial towns. But every colony answered to the British Crown. Britain demanded taxes, but gave no representation. Anger spread from one colony to another. Secret meetings began behind closed doors. For the first time, people whispered one dangerous word: freedom. And in Boston, history was about to explode. The colonies grew faster every single year. Native families slowly lost the land they called home. Ancient forests disappeared, one tree at a time. Small villages became busy colonial towns. But every colony answered to the British Crown. Britain demanded taxes, but gave no representation. Anger spread from one colony to another. Secret meetings began behind closed doors. For the first time, people whispered one dangerous word: freedom. And in Boston, history was about to explode. In 1776, everything changed. A single document carried an impossible dream. They signed it, knowing death could be the price. For the first time, America declared its freedom. But freedom had to be won on the battlefield. The war lasted 4 years. Hunger, cold, and loss tested every soldier. Then, victory finally came. A new nation was finally born. From 13 colonies to the United States of America. 13 small colonies became one nation. Together, they built a new future. Year after year, America continued to grow. Small towns became great cities. New ideas changed the world. Innovation, courage, and determination shaped a nation. But every great nation has a beginning. And America's story began long before history books were written. A story of courage, survival, discovery, and freedom. This is how America was born, and how it changed the world forever.